Every photographer aspires to be a better photographer. And you may think that progress involves getting a more premium lens, a more premium camera, going to more exotic locations, and snapping photos over and over again. But what if I told you that's probably not how it works? You see, photography, just like many other skills in life, does require practice to get good at it. If you want to get fit, you have to put in the hours, hit the gym, hit the road. You basically have to do more of it to get better at it. And so, just like trying to get fitter, people approach photography the same way, snapping more and more photos at different locations, different timings, different subjects, different scenarios to try and get better at it. But I'm going to tell you to take a step back, look at what you're doing, and if you're going to do this right, you'll end up pressing the shutter button less and taking home better images more. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Terrence and I have been a wildlife photographer for the past 10 years. I am also a Nikon ambassador and I've also worked with many other brands over the years to create content around wildlife photography. Here's the thing, photography isn't just about quantity, it's about intentionality, thought, and vision. Every time you press that shutter, you should be asking yourself, why am I taking this photo? What story am I trying to tell? What makes this moment worth capturing? When you shoot hundreds or thousands of photos in quick succession, you're often just hoping that one of them turns out good. That's not deliberate photography, that's guesswork. Instead, slow down, study the scene, look at the lights, consider your composition, think about the emotion or story you're trying to convey. Let's take a deeper dive into why this approach works. First, let's talk about the relationship between quantity and quality. It's tempting to think that the more photos you take, the higher your chances of capturing a great one. But in reality, constantly shooting without reflection can dull your ability to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. By slowing down, you're training your eye to notice details that others might overlook. The way light falls on a subject, the subtle interplay of colors, or the fleeting expression on your subject. Then there's the measure of focus, not just the kind you adjust on your camera, but your mental focus. When you're taking fewer photos, you're dedicating more of your attention to each one. You're more likely to adjust your settings thoughtfully, refine your composition, and wait for the perfect moment. This level of attention can transform an average photo into a stunning one. When I first started photography, especially in a genre like wildlife, the advice was to always shoot in rapid bursts. The camera industry seemed obsessed with frame rates, constantly competing over how many frames per second their models could achieve. I fell into that mindset, taking far too many photos and relying on the spray and pray method, hoping that one of them would turn out great. These days, my approach is much more intentional. When I spot an animal that I want to photograph, I pause and visualize the ideal image I want to capture in the environment around me. I take the time to position myself, wait for the right moment, and compose the shot thoughtfully. And only then do I press the shutter. It's a far more deliberate process than the way I used to shoot, and it's made all the difference. Another aspect to consider is the editing process. Think about what happens after a photo shoot. If you have taken hundreds or thousands of shots, you'll likely spend hours sifting through them, trying to find the few that stand out. This can be exhausting and demoralizing, but when you have taken fewer, more deliberate photos, the editing process becomes quicker, more focused, and much more rewarding. You're not just looking for the best, you're revisiting moments when you've already put thought and care into your work. Taking fewer photos also pushes you to develop your technical skills. When you limit the number of shots that you take, you're forced to get it right in camera. You pay closer attention to your settings, from aperture to shutter speed to ISO and white balance and also composition. This not only makes you a better photographer, but also ensures your photos look great straight out of the camera, reducing your reliance on post-processing. Now, let's talk about storytelling. Every great photograph tells a story, but when you're shooting mindlessly, it's easy to lose sight of that. By taking fewer photos, you're giving yourself the space to think about the narrative behind each shot. What emotion are you trying to evoke? What journey are you inviting your viewer to embark on? The fewer photos you take, the more meaningful each one becomes. I used to return from overseas trips, process my images, and excitedly share 50 banger shots with friends from a week-long adventure. But in today's world where content is everywhere and photography standards are constantly evolving, I've realized that less truly is more. Now, I'm content with capturing just 10 images a year that I'm genuinely proud of. Each of these photos represents a deliberate effort to achieve a specific vision, an ideal image crafted to evoke a sense of awe and wonder. For me, that's the essence of wildlife photography, creating moments that resonate deeply and leave a lasting impression. There's also a psychological aspect to this. When you're not overwhelmed by the pressure to capture everything, you're able to enjoy the moments more. You're present, you're connected to your subject, and that connection often shines through in your photos, making them more authentic and impactful. I've lost count of the moments, especially in recent years, where I found myself in the presence of some of the most spectacular wildlife, face to face with gorillas, tigers, or bears, and simply put my camera down to marvel at the experience. In those moments, photography took a backseat to the sheer awe of being in such close proximity to these incredible creatures. When I finally picked up my camera again, something inside me had shifted. I felt more connected, more inspired, and almost without fail, the photos I captured turned out better. It was as if taking the time to truly appreciate the moment allowed me to channel that sense of wonder into my work. So remember, every photograph you take is a chance to improve your craft, but only if you approach it with intention. So next time you're out with your camera, resist the urge to snap away mindlessly. Instead, challenge yourself to capture fewer images, but make each one count. In the end, the goal isn't to have a massive collection of photos. It's to have a meaningful collection of great images. And sometimes the best way to achieve that is by doing less, not more. So take your time, trust your instincts, and let your creativity guide you to those truly exceptional shots.